Hi friends, Marley here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about growing peppers. Peppers are one of my favorite plants to grow in my garden. Each year, I plant at least 100 peppers. The date today is May 27th and I already have 77 pepper plants that have been planted in the ground. Now I am showing you the first batch of peppers that I have planted in my garden. This raised garden bed has 25 peppers growing in it. These are all sweet peppers mixed of different varieties because my favorite peppers are the sweet pepper types. My pepper plants were planted in 3 batches so far, and this first batch was planted on April 22nd, which was just a couple of days after my last frost date. So since today is May 27th, these bell peppers are already 5 weeks old. And this is so amazing, guys, because these bell peppers have actually started putting out some flowers. Let's take a look at this bell pepper. Under the leaves, you can see a couple of flowers, and many of them already have flowers or flower buds. Growing peppers is not hard at all. You set your pepper plant seedlings out after the last spring frost. Make sure that your pepper seedlings were hardened off before you put them in the ground or in the raised bed. Peppers grow well in raised beds. You can plant them in containers as well, or you can plant them directly in the ground, just like this setup right here for my third batch of peppers. In terms of the spacing, a good spacing for bell peppers and the other types of peppers is between 18 to 24 inches. Plant your peppers in a sunny, well-drained spot, and it is a good idea for your pepper plants to get at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight per day. In terms of the growing medium, you can use compost and mix compost and other organic matter into the soil when planting. Now, you can buy compost in bags, or you can make your own. If you don't have that setup and all you have is an earth bed, like the ground for planting, you can just clean the ground and then dig a hole, and then you put a slow release all-purpose fertilizer that has NPK represented. NPK stands for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. These are the new pepper plants that I transplanted into the ground yesterday. Now the others are still small, but that is okay. They will grow faster in the ground than in their little styrofoam cups where I started them. Now, once you have transplanted your pepper seedlings in the ground, make sure that you water them immediately after planting. One thing that I do with my pepper plants after they get transplanted, aside from watering them, is that on the second day, I water them with a fish fertilizer solution. You can get fish fertilizer from the farm supply stores or from your big box stores. And there's an instruction in the back, and then you're gonna have to mix it up with water, and then you water it at the base of the plant. I usually water my pepper seedlings with fish fertilizer every week when they are smaller, and then when they are bigger and they start producing, I slow down on watering them with fish fertilizer because that is mostly nitrogen. This first batch of peppers in this raised bed, I noticed that some of the leaves have started turning yellow, and so I'm going to hit these plants with a fish fertilizer today. Now, in terms of remembering when to fertilize them, because I have such a big garden and there are so many plants, what I usually do is I do my fertilizing on Saturdays, so I don't have to think of a date when I last fertilized my plants. If there's a plant that needs fertilizing, that's gonna be on a Saturday. That's just my routine and how I make sure that I remember what I do in my garden. Now, this is actually an early crop of bell peppers that I have in here. We have bell peppers, we have the black beauty bell peppers, we have the yellow and the orange type, we have Jimmy Nardello, Yellow Wonder, Corno de Toro, there's Keystone Resistant. So I have different kinds of peppers that I have planted here in my garden. And all of these peppers are heirloom varieties, so I can actually save the seeds from these plants and then save them for next year, so I don't have to buy more seeds for my garden. I used to stake my peppers, but now that I have so many, I can't afford to put a tomato cage around each of my peppers. So what I do is I just use sticks that I get from my backyard. Sometimes I don't really stake them. Usually the peppers like holding hands. So what it means is that if you plant them close enough, say for example 18 inches apart, they will grow big enough that their leaves will be touching each other and they will actually support each other that way. And that is why I plant my peppers in beds like this, where I put like 4 by 5 or a 4 by 8, depending on how much room I have in the ground. Because then if I grow them in a like rectangle like this, they will support each other and I'm not gonna need to stake all of them. Maybe the ones on the side will need a little staking as soon as they have a lot of fruits, because the fruits can get heavy, and so that's when the time that I really stake the outer part. But the ones on the inside, usually I don't have to stake them anymore. Another very important thing when growing peppers is to spread mulch, such as chopped leaves or straw. In my garden, I usually use pine shavings. I got this from Tractor Supply. I believe you can get this from the other farm supply stores as well. Mulch is a good idea around the plants to keep the soil cool and moist. In terms of harvesting, you can harvest your peppers at any stage. You can harvest the peppers when they are green, or you can harvest them when they have turned into red or maybe yellow or maybe purple. If you are a beginner gardener and you are looking for what other plants to add to your garden, I suggest to add a few peppers to your garden because these plants are so amazing. That's gonna be all for today. Thank you for watching and happy gardening.